Hello, thank you for joining us. So all three of us are DLD newbies. This is all our first year here, and we're having such a great time. We're learning so much, and this discussion will be one of those sessions you get to learn from us. Thank you so much for those great introductions. We will just jump right into it because we have very little time, and there's so much to discuss in this space. So, Ruslan, let me start with you. How are you using AI to help improve the customer journey for hospitality clients?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for everyone being here. AI today, it's a very important tool for us because actually the customer journey started from the first interaction between our customer when he's checking in the hotel and give him the total customer journey from getting the first email from us and continue until the checking in to the room. And by using the AI, we can participate and make his journey much more friendly, where it's our hospitality and much more easy, and to have it easy for him, saving time, and give him additional services where can optimize his satisfaction and his staying in one of our hotels. And this is why, for us, the customer journey with the AI, making the processes much more easy with a lot of services, what we are trying to give to our customers to have the best experience when they are starting with us.
Great. In our pre-session discussion, you mentioned something very tantalizing to me, which is an AI-powered digital concierge. Can you talk a little bit about that idea?
Yeah, absolutely, because what we are trying to do, this is to give as much as possible services to our customers, also to give them the, not just coming to the hotels and staying in the room, and just to discover with them what we can offer them from all the perspective. And this is even it's in different categories, from budget hotels up to upper scale hotels, that we can give the customers an experience of being having all the concierge service where they can help him any advice, any booking of restaurants or any adventure, and giving also personal need, like a concierge service personal need. And as you know, Iliana, that she's having a twin, and I would love to have her twin given to our customers experience of concierge.
So fun fact, Iliana is one of the first people in the world to have an AI digital twin built of herself. So please, tell us a little about that.
For anyone wondering in the audience, what does this mean? It's true. I have an AI twin who looks like me, sounds like me, and has been trained on the transcripts of every talk I've ever delivered, everything I've ever published, and the case studies of the last 5 years of every single project that my teams have run at Accenture while I was running our innovation hub. So it's this idea that you could interact with her when my calendar becomes a blocker. And when you think about the Ruslan example in the world of hospitality, what if you could provide endless personalization to every single one of your guests, meeting them where they're at, but not having them interact with a chatbot, but having that real human to human type of experience. And we've seen firsthand that people are actually quite keen to interact with these digital avatars, so long as you don't get into the uncanny valley. But it's fascinating.
Who's funnier, you or your digital twin?
Well, actually, I have learned a lot more about what it means to be human as a result of having this AI twin of myself. The one time that Lila sassed me in the middle of a prep call for us to introduce her to a CEO, and I turned to our tech team and said, can we turn down her personality sassiness levels? I'm not that sassy. And they nervously laughed and looked at each other. And I was like, oh no, wait. Oh, okay, maybe I am more of a personality than I thought. Whoops.
That's great. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. How do you think, Iliana, the technical advancements these days are really democratizing the hospitality experience for people?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the biggest trends that I'm paying attention to is the rise of remote work. And I often joke that so long as I have my laptop, my notebook, my cell phone, and my brain, I'm good to go. And I can really work from anywhere. And I'm not alone. The statistics are showing that upwards of 80 million people around the world are choosing to live the digital nomad lifestyle. And so suddenly you're questioning the norm of someone who's taking a 2-week vacation, or in Europe, maybe they're taking a 4-week vacation, and perhaps it's only to the ultra elite and ultra wealthy that they're able to do extended trips around the world. We're starting to see that becoming much more accessible to a broader range of the population. Of course, you have the platforms like Airbnb. We all are familiar with it, but there is a rise of a new category of home swapping businesses out there, from Kindred to My Place and others, that essentially allow someone to say, why work from my home office in New York City if you can do the work just as effectively from a home office in the south of France, and perhaps you're not a big fan of New York City winters, and it's no longer limited to the 0.1% to actually own property in those various locations, because you have new options that are emerging, effectively making this experience a lot more democratized.
You mentioned a phrase that I want to double click on. Your personal story has led you to a location-independent lifestyle, and you're a self-professed digital nomad, which is the phrase you had brought up. Who is this population? And you touched upon it a little bit already, but why is it important for us to understand the growth of this population and what it means for the rest of us?
Absolutely. So close your eyes for a second, audience members, and think of the term digital nomad. And I want you to conjure up an image. And I bet you that what you've come up with is probably a 22-year-old person sitting on a beach in Bali, working from their laptop, earning $15,000 a year. Fairly accurate? Maybe I get some head nods. Well, the reality is that that demographic actually is much older and more affluent than popular opinion persists. So in fact, over 50% of folks who live this type of lifestyle are actually 30 to 39 years old, and the average income is over $100,000 USD, which completely defies how people perceive that demographic. Now, it wasn't until 2021 that I stumbled onto the term digital nomad. I was going through a really bad bout of burnout at work, and the executive leadership team at Accenture was incredibly gracious in giving me the time and space to bounce back to normal. And as part of this journey, I was doing a lot of travel and using it as a chance to reconnect with others, gain inspiration. And when I plugged into a local community in Barbados, and I actually stopped to think for a moment, who are all these other people who are here? They're not on vacation. They're not here for 1 to 2 weeks. They seem to be working, and that's when that term had emerged. And as soon as you add a label on something, you make it more formal. You make it more real, and it took me down this rabbit path of trying to understand more about this cohort. And in the past couple of years, since the pandemic, in the US alone, there has been a quadrupling of the number of people that live by this digital nomad label. This now represents 11% of the working age population in the United States. This is not a small, niche, fringe trend. It's becoming increasingly more commonplace, and remote work is not going to become less common. Yet, when I meet with executives, whether it be in the hotel industry or the travel industry writ large, or even HR executives, this is not a term, this is not a trend that they're necessarily paying attention to. And for me, I'm in the business of spotting trends, and when I see a cohort that's this large and diverse, it's something to take note.
And how are businesses, hospitality and otherwise, responding to this new lifestyle and the growing community of people who are digital nomads?
So I'll pass the floor to Ruslan in one moment, but I'll give you one very practical example. Nomads typically are spending about 5.5 weeks per destination, which means that the average length of their stay is a lot longer than when people were historically booking an Airbnb or booking a hotel experience. And so what do you need in order to live comfortably for that 5.5 week time frame? It's not a vacation, but it's not a permanent relocation either. And so a lot of the life processes tend to fall through the cracks. And when you move internationally, everything from legal to taxation, the immigration side of things, figuring out your housing considerations, all of those processes start to break, and there isn't a lot of streamlined in that lifestyle.
Yeah.
But Ruslan, would love to hear how you're adjusting.
Absolutely.
No, actually, we saw also a very big shift, also post-pandemic, like about the way of people start to travel, and also in different locations, like if it's city and or leisure place, like how the people start to travel even in city as a leisure, if it's families or individuals, and therefore also the needs of the people by coming to the hotels, post-pandemic and like the situation today, the people need more social life. It means they need much more from our properties to have a shared office, to have a space where they can share office, maybe to social with other people, to have some lifestyle gastronomy which can be offered. Therefore, we start to see a lot of people also can be spending longer time, like staying in a hotel as extended stay, that they can stay a couple of weeks or month in the same place, but having their new home, out of home, as a center of life, being provided with all our services and being part of this social life, what they needed far away from their home. And this is what we can see, this is shift of the way where we are prepared to provide them with high-speed internet, with more comfortable seat in place, or more better environment about the things. And then,
Yeah. Yes, as you were saying, people are no longer thinking about hotels as just for their, travel experience. It's their home away from home, office away from office. Can you talk practically, like taking an example of one of your hotels and how you're changing the amenities that's being offered to address that?
Yeah, absolutely. We are starting like with the lobby area, and also especially now with the AI, and this is also one of the questions we discussed, that how can AI help us also with creating the spaces. By creating this public area where we don't need any more receptions, then we create more public space that we can integrate spaces where in different kind of seatings with the professional design that can be more friendly, having more environment of working with the plugin and so on, and also with giving the total services, how we can integrate not just like boring lobby where you have just a reception of check-in, then you come kind of a home, you have like a room where it is like the living room, that you are coming to the living room, where you have also the kitchen, and this is your space for this moment. And this is how we are integrating and changing between different asset classes to lifestyle, more friendly. Even it should not be very expensive, but it has to be practical and very friendly for the users and our customers.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
It feels like there is a real shift for people wanting to lead really meaningful lives, and part of that living a meaningful life, you want to develop connections. Going back to your digital nomad, if you're moving with some frequency, how are digital nomads developing the communities, the connections, especially when it comes to travel?
So the more experienced citizens of the world have recognized that it's really important for them to belong to communities. At the end of the day, we are social creatures. And one of the things I'm paying attention to is the emergence of a hybrid trip that is neither a vacation nor a work trip, nor a conference, nor a trip with some of your best friends, but it's actually a combination of all of the above merged into one. And I've been doing a bit of a sampler tour of those experiences this past year to get the firsthand experience, and it has been fascinating because you end up on a trip with, call it 100 people, but you don't know these people. You're in a WhatsApp chat group, you've been thrown there by a curator, you've gone through a level of vetting, and you're pretty much taking this chance that when you arrive, you're going to meet values and interests aligned people, and you are going to spend the next week or 2 weeks potentially with this group. And I have made some lifelong connections and friendships as a result of doing that. But you have to be really intentional to not accidentally get burnt out when you're perpetually on the road, always meeting new people and not able to retain any of those social ties.
Yeah.
That's very cool. We've been talking a lot about the consumer, the customer experience. I want to talk about the business. How have digital tools or how do you think digital tools could help you optimize your operations, reduce payrolls, and even help better recruit employees for your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Like hospitality is one of the industry where it's very heavy with payroll. We have very high payroll. And for that, we are seeking to look how we can optimize this. And one of the big part of it, this is with AI, that we can also, with all the digital journey, for example, it's two sides. Like this is the front office side, like where the guest has interaction with the hotel. This is how we can optimize all this journey by having it digitalized, that we don't need any more receptions. We need more a guest relation or person that welcoming the person. Therefore, we can reduce this also night shifts. Or day shift, therefore we can reduce very big amount of our reception or guest people, where we can train them to be more guest friendly and more helpful, not standing behind the desk and just doing the check-in, check-out without any more helpful. This was from one side. The other side, all the F&B, like the restaurants and all the bars, how to digital the process that you can make the order, and this make the things faster and the service much better. Therefore, we can also reduce the amount of people working behind. From the back office, we can optimize a lot of or automate a lot of processes from bookkeeping, or we are using AI by controlling our waste. By controlling our waste, therefore we are controlling also our purchasing, reducing cost in the purchasing, and also being environment friendly, and helping also these results by less people also being involved in all the processes of more administration stuff, and as much more using an AI things. And by that also how to train our people, that we can use also an AI, coming back to you, and that there's an AI person can train the people, that it's faster to get the right things to be done, and with much shorter ways.
How do you envision that, Iliana, putting on your Accenture hat where you advise companies and businesses through transformation? What do you see in your crystal ball about how businesses can use AI and other digital tools?
So there's an interesting trend that we're seeing, which is across any large existing business, they have the real world assets, they have the customers, as is the case in Ruslan's scenario, but they are realizing that their digital core simply is not there. And they need to completely reimagine the back-end infrastructure and to use AI as an opportunity to do leapfrogging. So it's not about tuning all of your old existing systems. It's starting from a blank sheet of paper and reimagining, how do you want your customers to feel when they've interacted with your service? How do you want your employee journey to be? That's a huge part of the value proposition. And then how do you use the latest next generation tech in order to be able to get you there? But many organizations, frankly, are realizing that they have a lot of catch-up work that they need to do ASAP until they're ready to get into the year 2025, but they don't really have a choice because things have been accelerating so quickly.
Yeah. And Ruslan, we were talking about how in your business you own all the customer touch points, and I was asking you about the data you've collected. Can AI help you with that data and make that data smarter and help you to plan?
Absolutely, absolutely. For us, we are processing a lot of data about our customers, where it's with our customer service center. But by using an AI, we can also analyze this data and make better services for our customers when they are coming to the future. Or we understand exactly what they need and how they can go and give them the right services when they are coming to our hotels. And we know exactly from the way of check-in, also all their journey to our hotels and back to anywhere they are going. We can give them the total service and experience, what they needed for specifically for their needs. And today, with our data, without the AI like help and support, this data can be very long and very slow processed. And by that, we can very fast process the data and build up the profile for our customers, individual for each customer, his individual needs when he's coming to one of our hotels.
Well, I can't wait to see what you do with that data and how you enhance our customer experience. The 20 minutes have come and gone, so I want to thank you both for your expertise and your knowledge and your insights today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.